gave you a drum roll. Didn't sound good. It kind of sounded like a stripper purring in your ear, didn't it?
I gave you action.
Huh?
And I gave you action.
Kind of did, kind of didn't. Okay, so guys, I know I've been falling way behind on doing these videos for you guys, and the reason I haven't been doing videos on the car is because one, I've been focused on the car. Two, I don't know, I just didn't want to do any videos on it until the car was lined out and doing good. But here's what happened the other day and why we weren't at Idaho. I've never told anybody because honestly, I've been wrapped up trying to get this fucking car lined out. It bent the rear end. Now, if you look at this rear end, or the rear end that's in this car, Clayton Murphy at Chassis Engineering built all my rear ends. And as you can see, this is the one actually out of the black Chevelle. Because I can take the rear end, since he jigs all my rear ends exactly the same, and all my chassis stuff comes from him, I can take the rear end out of the Chevelle, put it in the Camaro, one out of the Camaro in the Chevelle, on and on and on. But you see how back braced and fucking beefy this rear end is. From the shock brackets up here where we have, come up this way, Stay. Can they see it? These are what they call doublers. That puts extra, because all the force of this pushes on this bottom bar to what they call, this is the number one bar. Your whole chassis starts off of this bar called the number one bar. This bar designates where everything ends up in this car, chassis wise. This is Clayton Murphy's chassis too. My brother, Clayton, told me, man, you keep messing with these cars, that let's build you a real car. That's one of the other reasons this car is so sentimental to me, almost as much as Reaper, the original Reaper was. Because Clayton took the time to teach my brother, who's one of the baddest fucking fabricators out there now, how to build this chassis. And I sent a body up there. Two of my brothers went up there, and a guy that worked for me welding, and they built this entire chassis. And Clayton taught him how one of these chassis, 25-1, basically pro mod, I said it, pro mod chassis work. So the tire shake on this car has been unfucking believable, trying to get this thing, the power management right, because this motor makes so much damn power it's hard to control. That's the truth. And turbos are a motherfucker. They're not easy. Pro chargers are easy. Nitrous is easy. I run blower cars. I run centrifugal supercharger cars. They're easy compared to turbos. So it bent the rear end. Right here on this part of this back brace, it actually buckled it here. The rear end started leaking from the welds. So when we go to put the jig in, which is basically a solid steel bar that goes in here, and it's got cups that go on each side, so when you weld it, the rear end don't bend. We literally couldn't put the jig in it to weld the rear end back up. That's when we started noticing it was bent back here. It was bent. It basically horseshoed the rear end. You guys see how strong that fucking rear end is in that car, which is identical to the one that it bent. This rear end, so I called Clayton and said, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. He goes, we're gonna build another housing. That's what we're gonna do. And the cool part about it is, and you'll see some videos where Clayton himself, the owner of Chassis Engineering, welded my rear end. But here's what he's done. Come around this way. This doesn't just have one faceplate. He doubled the faceplate. He doubled the doublers. These brackets are thicker. The back brace is thicker. Everything about this, well, anybody that knows what chromoly is lighter than steel. When he got done with this rear end, and we know by the shipping label, this rear end was actually 20 pounds heavier than the original rear end. So there's 20 more pounds of fucking steel in this. He even put, everything is gusseted. Plates are thicker. To the point, he had to send me longer bolts. Boy, UPS screwed me over. Look at that. That's a brand new bolt, Nick. They thumped this thing around so much that it literally beat up on my bolts. So, this is the new rear end for the car. Pulled the rear end out of the Chevelle so we could keep trying to test it. But it's not a floater. And the reason I went to the floater is because you guys remember one time where I was breaking axle bearings every time it shaked the car. So, shake the tires. So now it can't break the axle bearings because of this strange floater. So now it took out the next thing, which bent the rear end housing, which I didn't even know was fucking possible, to be honest with you. I never would have dreamed that it could have done that. But if it can break the center out of the car, tire shake's a bitch. So he sent this to Lake Havasu. I'm at Brian Macy's shop at Lake Havasu. So we can do this in the air conditioner, not lay underneath the car and do it at the racetrack. So
Location.
Huh? We're filming on location at Horsepower Connection at Lake Havasu. So you guys know Brian. Brian has he's helping me with the car, tuning the car, helping me a lot with just about everything. So
he's good for your mental state.
He is good for my mental state. He's a funny motherfucker.
He's your emotional support tuner.
He is my emotional support tuner. That's right. And Clayton went one step further, which Clayton Murphy, I've known Clayton, fuck, I don't even know how long we've been friends. He did after Jeff Lutzer put the cage in the Chevelle, he did the fabrication on the exhaust and the sheet metal and the steel and did a lot of shit to that car for me. So here's the cool thing. Now the rear end says, now you guys know what the tag was about.
Mm-hmm.
All that being said is great and wonderful. But now there's absolutely no way it's going to break this rear end. So stay tuned for the next thing I break, because I am the guy that breaks shit that every manufacturer swears to be damn can't be broke. And I am still on track for doing that. So with this thing being 20 pounds heavier, everything being doubled, it'll bend the car in half before this thing's going to bend. So, which the other one shouldn't have bent. I'm still blown away by that. All the years of doing this, as many tire shakes, I've never so much as cracked one of Clayton's rear ends. For that thing to be that violent to bend a rear end, and you see, this thing isn't very long. If you think about it, put this idea in your head. You see how long that is? See how easy it is to bend. Take it over here on the short side, it's a lot harder to bend. This, rear end's only that long. Imagine the force that it took to bend this rear end. It was a lot. So, I will have another special announcement, because another very good friend of mine is going to come start helping us, which I'll be very excited to share that with you. He'll be at Vegas helping us get this thing lined out. Guys, I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't going to go on a team until we get the car lined out. And I'm tired. I'm actually sick and tired telling you guys we're close, and then we don't make it the next race. We don't have it. Let me rephrase that. It's not fast enough for me to want to put it on a team. Car's been fast. It's going fast. But I don't want to just go on a team. I want to go on a team and be able to win. So, there's your update. I get Master Works. Things going to help me put the rear end in. Well, we got an air conditioner or a lid. Put it in the car. We're out.